Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to join our webinar today. We are International Association of Microsoft Channel Partner, Greater China Region. Today, we invite our guest speaker, Mr. Vincent. He's the certified CFRE fundraiser and ESG consultant. He has a very good experience in this industry and also the segment. In the coming 30 minutes, he will share a little bit more about how to use the artificial intelligence to enable and empower the person in this industry to make it even better. Let's welcome Vincent.
Hello, everybody. I'm Vincent. Hello.
Yes, Vincent. Thank you so much. Okay, so I do believe that in this morning we have some technical issues, so that's why we rescheduled the webinar to the evening. Okay, so maybe I can pass the time to you to talk a little bit more about your background, because I just tell everybody that you are the fundraiser or whatever. Can you tell a little bit more about yourself before I ask you the first question? Hello, Vincent. It seems like frozen, right? Okay. Let me check with Vincent to see whether there's another so-called technical problem at his side.
Thank you.
Oh, it seems that today the internet connection may not be very good. Well, even though we change it to different places. Okay, so just wait a second. Okay. Hello, Vincent. Can you hear us?
Yes, I can. Can you hear me?
Okay,
There seems to be
okay.
there
Yes.
seems
Let me.
there seems to be some problem.
It should be fine. It
Uh,
should
yeah,
be fine. Don't worry. Okay. Yeah. Okay. We can clearly hear you and also see your face right now. Okay.
yes. Thank you.
Okay. So anyway, I will slow down a little bit about asking your question or whatever. It seems that there is some latency about the internet connectivity, something like that. So let's resume what we are talking about. Okay, I will pass the time to introduce a little bit more about yourself, because I just told everybody that you are the expert in the ESG and also the fundraising. Okay, maybe I can give you 30 minutes to talk about yourself, and then we can start to have some question.
Yes. Thank you, Aaron. Thank you for this opportunity. I am Vincent, and I have been doing fundraising for 20 years. I'm a certified fundraiser, and I've been recently been also certified as a ESG professional. So, today I'm going to talk a little bit about AI, how AI can help us with the fundraising as well as the ESG.
Yeah, thank you so much, Vincent. Okay, so maybe I've asked the first question because it's a little bit from my perspective, it's an honor to be, because you are the first CFRE certification. You got the certification in Hong Kong and China. You're the first person. Okay, so anything talking about the first person, it means that the person has some so-called insight or the have some kind of the so-called um, good idea about what's a promising industry and something like that. Okay, so can you tell me a little bit more about what does it mean for the fundraising profession? Okay, about the CFRE, or maybe you are the first person to get this kind of certification.
Yes. Well, first of all, I must say I did not study or start as a fundraiser, as someone who want to fundraise money for people, okay, or for other causes. So actually, I started as an engineer. I worked after I graduated from Imperial College. I started as a chipset IC design engineer. So I was dealing with a lot of computers and simulations. So that's why AI is very familiar to me. And you asked me, and that's my early life. So, but eventually, I got into work with a lot of people in fundraising, in charities, and I love that with the work that to help others. So I and just because I started early, and I realized that it's a very meaningful profession, and I want to show to at least to the rest, or to show my commitment to the rest of the world, that is important. So I look into the certifications, and I found that there is a professional certification in fundraising, and that's why and very fortunately I became happened to be the first one in Hong Kong to have these international fundraising certifications. That was 20 years ago. So
Okay, so good. Okay, because it's a little bit yes, you can move forward. Okay.
Yes. So you want to show can you show my slide? I have to prepare some slides, PowerPoint.
Okay, sure.
So if fundraising is quite an old profession, really. I mean, there are a lot of charities in Hong Kong. There are charities in the world. It just happens that the fundraising has become more important, and it's more sophisticated. There are professionals who want to commit, and also to and not get to pass on the knowledge to the others. So that's why this certification is to help to pass on the knowledge to the future professionals. So there is an international association called the Association of Fundraising Professionals. So which is show the PowerPoint, Aaron. Okay.
Yes,
So
I'm.
this
It's like.
yeah. So in terms of professional fundraising, there is an association called the AFP, which was founded 1960, and which has most of the fundraisers as members. Of course, this usually is based in North America. But then after that, around 1980 something, professional certifications was launched, and then they were getting more and more professionals who want to be certified. And as I mentioned, I was one of the fortunate one, and I started. I had this insight to start early, and it's important to bring back to Hong Kong. So I was certified 20 years ago, and in fact, since I've been back, I've been promoting the certifications, and also and more recently helping institutions to further encourage more people to be certified in fundraising.
Yes. So you have some message you want to deliver, right?
Yes. Well, rather than put it, rather than something that is something for myself, I think the CFRE, the meaning of that is to encourage more people to be committed to professional fundraising. It's not just for individuals. It's the message to the rest of the community that we are committed to non-profits. We are committed to do something trustworthy. So that is the core message that I think of the CFRE certifications.
Yeah, thank you so much. Okay, Vincent, I do believe you prepared the PowerPoint. You have some message want to deliver to the audience, but I want to interrupt a little bit. Okay, so maybe I'm not sure whether it's appropriate or not, because as you know that in Hong Kong there's a lot of the charity and lots of the so-called association related to different part of the so-called the target group. Okay. Have you been working with all of them, or maybe some of them, to so-called promote this kind of the fundraising professional, the qualification and something like that? How about the feedback or whatever thing? And anything you can share with me, or is quite confidential, so that's why you cannot share with us?
No, actually, it's open. I mean, of course, as a professional certification is welcome for everyone. Of course, you need to have some basic training. You need to have knowledge and experience as well. So the CFRE is really open to someone who are really serious about professional fundraisings, people who are working in charities. Now, in Hong Kong, there's no requirement. Okay, the Hong Kong government does not require anyone to have any certifications if they want to do fundraising. But when you think about it, we have certifications for insurance, insurer, people working in the insurance profession, working in even cosmetic, But funny enough, we are dealing with a lot of public money, but there's no requirement for any kind of certifications. So, well, and of course, I encourage people to take up the fundraising profession, and also somehow to be equipped, in terms of knowledge and as well as experience. I have served on the board of the International CFRE, and I've served on the examination board as well. So, and I know that the certification really helps me. I mean, even though I already passed the certifications, preparing the examination helps me to become a better one and more committed. And that's why, that's why I thank Aaron for this opportunity for me to share a little bit about, the fundraising.
Okay, thank you so much. Okay, so maybe I ask another question first. But I'm not sure whether I will have some kind of impact to your presentation or your PowerPoint, because you in the very beginning you mentioned about you are an engineer. Okay, in the old days. Okay, talk about the ASIC chips or something like that. And then later on, you change a little bit to the fundraising professional fundraiser, and then you also have some kind of a so-called connection or relation to the ESG. It seems that you do different things. Actually, there's any kind of the so-called synergy, so that's why you spend the effort to do each part or whatever. Can you tell us a little bit more talking about the fundraising and the ESG part? How can you just mix and match all those things, and then how can you target to different kind of the so-called maybe it's an institution, maybe the profession, something like that?
I think they all in some way are connected, and I am sure you might have heard of ESG. If Aaron can move on to the next slide, is it stand for the ESG stand for environmental, social, and governance. It is really about sustainability, the corporate sustainabilities. And when we talk about, say, sustainability, we talk for corporates, we talk about two different kinds. One is financial, that is, whether the company can sustain, they make money or not. If they cannot make money, they cannot sustain. And also, there's also a non-financial part, and which is not related to money, but overall how the company is impacting the world in terms of good practices to the environment and to their staff and all that. So that is more about the corporate sustainability responsibilities, and when we live in a world which all interconnected, whether you are a corporations or you are non-profits or even individuals, all this we are all affected by climate change, for example. Okay, so and for me to be engaged in these things is that because I think they're important to me. I mean, and I'm deeply passionate about the climate change, how it affects us, and how the corporate and the non-profits can partner together for a better world. So that's the reason why I got to know that I'll be interested in ESG and in fundraising, and also in AI, which is very popular now. So before you move,
okay. Yes, before I move down, okay. So you have the.
So I'll just quickly just to tell to share a bit what the corporate is cares about is very different from what the non-profit cares about, right? Corporations, they care about their revenue. They also care about how others look at them. So for listed companies, for example, Hong Kong Stock Exchange requires they have to provide a ESG report, mandatory. Okay, and basically, if you, I mean, Aaron, you mentioned, like fundraising and ESG. Well, if CFRE is a measurement for how good the fundraiser is, in terms of fundraising, then ESG is a measurement for how good the corporate is in terms of their impact for the world. So ESG is very important for them. So they have to make sure they follow the rules and that they excel. So, and especially in this Hong Kong Stock Exchange, to require them to do that. So make things short is that they have to be responsible in terms of governance and environmental and social, etc., etc. Okay, it's so important that the governance part, the board, has to be responsible. That means they have to be responsible to make a statement, to the public that they care about the ESG and the principles and etc. And the connecting part between the ESG, the corporate ESG, and the non-profit is the social part, the S part, or the community investment part. They not just have to care about is better now? Okay.
Okay, we just resume to normal because before that it's maybe a couple of seconds frozen.
Okay, so just to recap a little bit, the corporate has to be responsible for their community investment, and so this is the part that the corporate can and non-profit can partner. So you move to the next slide.
Okay.
And then this is the charity which I founded 20 years ago, and we have a program called the ESG Teen Ambassadors, and this is the part that the corporates is willing to participate, because on one hand we are focusing helping students to learn about ESG, and on the other hand the corporates can contribute to the society by showing them what real ESG is. So for us, we are the bridge, and instead of teaching the students what ESG is, we actually show them. We take them to the corporates and let the corporates tell them this is what they're doing in the real world. Whether you are a MNC, multinational companies, whether you're doing conservations, or even your AI company, you all have ESG responsibilities. So this is the part that we can, we play the role connecting each other.
Okay. So can I ask another question talking about AI?
Yes.
Because okay, today we are
Please.
talking about using the AI technologies for the so-called non-profit fundraising, or maybe which is related to ESG as well. Okay. So I do believe that nobody will argue that AI should be adopted, or maybe it must be adopted because nowadays every single person, if they have a chance to use the AI tools, no matter from different part of the world, for different purposes. Okay, some of them just make use of it to try to do some kind of content generation. And content, it means that for the text, or maybe for the video, audio, all those things, because the quality is quite good. almost it's difficult to compare to the real one or the fake one. Okay, so I believe that that's should be the trend. And also one very important thing is that, okay, how can you relate to the AI technology for the nonprofit, for the fundraising? How can you believe, or maybe you're already doing something to help the nonprofit organization to make this one to do it in a much better way? Can you tell us a little bit about the AI technology and which is related to your profession?
Yes, of course. And as I mentioned, I'm very fortunate to start my career as a chip IC, we call this ASIC, ASIC application system.
Okay, Vincent. Okay, so when you talk about you are very fortunate to be the engineer to in the so-called ASIC industry or something like that, and then frozen, just already frozen. So maybe you need to repeat what you are talking about. So it's still frozen, right, Vincent? Maybe wait a few seconds to see whether the connectivity will be resumed. So Vincent, maybe you can turn off your camera to see whether it will be much more easier to make it. So maybe we wait for a few seconds, because I do believe the connectivity at Vincent's area today may not be very good. So that's why we also have some frozen or latency, something like that. But it doesn't matter. Okay, let's waiting for him to come back, and then we can continue the conversation.
Hi, I'm back. Hello.
Yes, you can continue your conversation. Okay, as I just
Yes.
mentioned before you mentioned about your very lucky video engineer, and that's okay, everything frozen.
Yes. Okay. So can you move to my next slide?
Okay, sure.
So, and the one after that, after this one. Okay. So
Yeah.
very good question. Thank you, Aaron. In fact, we use AI now. Basically, everybody's using AI. Some kinds of AI, okay, but they're not the same. Okay, what we're using is more generative AI, which is more advanced, and we are putting them in use for businesses. Okay, so we're not talking about doing simple things like making generating some pictures or whatever. Those are fine for daily use. But what we talk about is the very professional use. So in terms of fundraising, okay, there are a few things that we do. First of all, one of the major responsibility of a fundraiser is to find prospects, basically find potential donors. Okay, and we have been doing that in the past by looking into the profile of the different of your stakeholders, and to find someone that who have some kind of relationship or the ability or some kind of have good ability to support your organization or have a very strong interest. So we call that actually it's very scientific. We call it LAI. L stands for linkage, which is the relationship with your organization. A is ability, where the person has the capacity of giving, and I is the interest. So in the past, we look at the LAI, we measure, we kind of see which one has the highest LAI, and then we find them out. There's most likely who can support organization. But now with the AI, you can do it more systematically, more scientifically, and not just by doing not only with major donors, people will have big potential. You can do this kind of research without everybody, all the stakeholders, and then they will make your organization more effective. So this is one thing, and also of course, besides prospect research, we can do also grant writing. And Aaron, you mentioned we write grants to organizations, to funders for give money. But in the past, we spend days refining the proposal. But now with the AI, you can actually train the model based on the criteria of the funder. You can check out who the funder is, the foundation, what kind of things they like, all that. You train based on the past success cases, okay, and also you align it with the strength of your NGO, of your charities, of your non-profits, okay, and then and use the AI to come up with creative projects, and based on all these criteria, and not just that, it won't take days. You take a couple of hours, and we've been doing that, with our clients, and the proposal is so good that they're so professional, and also it shorten your time. Basically, shorten your time. You can apply for more grants if you want to, and then the other ones that the AI can help is the as I mentioned earlier just now, the donor segmentation and personalizations. In the past, we can only focus with a limited amount of people. Okay, those are we call them major donors. Okay, so those people who are to give a lot to the organization. Then you spend a lot of focus on them. But now we can, if organization is big. Okay, I used to work for big international organizations. They have about like 200,000. Okay, donors, for example. In the past, you will not be able to talk to them, address, to personalize everything. But now you can. Now you can basically use AI to find out what they like, and also personalize not just the communications, but also even though when you approach them, how you approach them, everything can be personalized, and so they'll feel that you're more closer to them, and this will immediately increase the relationship. Okay, and that means they're more likely to give to your organization, support you, because your organization is more understanding, right? So you can imagine, basically we're doing the same thing, but AI speeds up everything, and also it brings us closer to the donors. So
Okay, thank you so much. Okay, I do believe that you just mentioned something. Okay, about no matter in the non-profit or maybe fundraising, it's also suitable for different kind of industry, because before that we understand we need to do A, B, C, D, but maybe the bandwidth, maybe the time is not enough. So that's why it's not possible. So that's why we need to specify something. But now they use the AI. Everything what we think before we cannot do it now, AI can help us to do a little bit more. So that's why aggregate information, check the background of the so-called potential donor, and also even talking about prepare a much better proposal to fit for the expectation of the donor. All those things can be manipulated using the AI technology. It's a good stuff, okay. But one from another angle, okay, because so many good friends or maybe the partner, they ask the same question, is that, okay, I understand it's good for the organization or maybe some of the person they use the AI, but the existing person, let's say for example the staff of the organization, they are afraid that they will be replaced by the AI. So it seems that there is some kind of a challenge when we try to propose this kind of good stuff to the organization, because some of the hesitation or the resistance maybe from the existing staff or somebody else. Can you tell us a little bit more about this kind of the situation? Maybe you have encountered, or maybe you tell me that, okay, no, nobody will have this kind of the feedback. Everybody love to use the AI. Can you share a little bit about so-called feedback from some of the so-called organization, maybe some of the profession or something like that? Do you have anything you want to share with us? Vincent. Oh, it seems that Vincent is frozen again. Vincent, you are still frozen.
hello.
Hello. Yes, I can hear you. Okay, I can hear you just now. Before that, I was frozen. Okay.
Yeah. Yes. You're totally right. I mean, it's something very common. People are afraid, okay, but they won't tell you, okay. What they do is that they will reject it and say, oh, it's no good. This is is you infringe on the privacy, and it tells you that it's not reliable. The AI will hallucinate, you know. But the all behind all this is about fear and also about being replaced. Um, I mean, and it's understandable. You know, we are not we're not familiar with things, and then we just don't want to touch it. But the problem is, the AI trend is not going to stop. You know, if you don't learn it, then others will learn it, and then, you know, as we always talk about now, you're not going to be replaced by AI, but you're going to be replaced by someone who knows AI, right? So, and in fact, I have been told, you know, by senior executives, you know, of the organizations, they know this problem with the staff, you know, um, and and they warn me, you know, that well, in order to do that, you really have to, and one of the strategies for AI is both top down and as well as bottom up. They call it, okay, that from the senior management, they have to understand the need for use of AI, and to support and to give strategies, you know, that the staff should not be afraid. And then of course we need the staff to support it, you know, not to afraid, and also to embrace it. So in order to make it happen, otherwise there's no way that I can, you know, consult or I give advice for them to use AI, but deep down they're not willing to accept. They don't want to be replaced. But the irony is that you don't you don't embrace it, you'll be replaced. Okay, so
Yeah. So let's be positive and optimistic about how to leverage different kind of the so-called technology or different way to handle the so-called the challenge. Okay, I do believe that, okay, everybody will adopt this kind of the mindset. Otherwise, in the coming day, no matter they are a
yeah,
student at university right now, or maybe working for some of the industry, they need to face this kind of the so-called challenge. Okay, if they don't change, okay, the other competitor will maybe replace them as well. Okay, so
yeah,
okay, this is the slide you want to share about the AI application in fundraising. Okay, let me see. Okay,
yes.
you
And the
have the
key
key message
message
you want to share with you.
exactly. You see, the key message is that AI is what done the repetitive work that I mentioned.
Okay. So talking about this
Right.
one, I can see the wording ESG. Okay, I do believe that you mentioned AI for the nonprofit fundraising and also talking something about the related to the ESG. Can you tell us a little bit about your comment about the AI? What's the implication or maybe the application in the ESG related area?
Yes, of course. AI not just applies to nonprofit fundraising, but of course it also can apply to corporations and also on to ESGs as well. So we, besides nonprofits, we also help corporations using AI to analyze the ESG, the health audit. You can treat it as a body check for the corporations, okay? And then we use the criteria because all the listed companies have to follow the hello.
Hello. Okay. You're okay. So good. Okay. So
Okay.
in the beginning you mentioned about ESG and then already frozen. Okay, can you repeat all those
Sure,
your sharing?
sure.
Okay.
So as I mentioned, um, AI also can be used to analyze the ESG and to help corporations, especially listed companies, in terms of their ESG performance. So we train the models to measure how well the organization does in terms of these criteria. And so you can see that you can treat the ESG health audit is something that is a body check for the organizations. Of course, all, all the listed companies should have a department. Okay, you have somebody in charge of sustainability of the ESG because it's required. But we provide a third party as a reference for them to measure against how well they're doing. Okay, so it's a lot. You see a doctor, you don't just see one, you see a couple. Okay, so you make sure that there's no something you miss out, right? And of course, besides the ESG health audit, we can also provide them. You want to compare how the other listed companies are doing. For fund industry, for real estate, or for power management, different industries, you have competitors, right? And you don't just look at yourself. Oh, I'm doing fine. I'm good. But you look at a benchmark against others, how well the others are doing. And so that the people who buy your stock, will come to you rather than somebody else. So this is also important, and and also we can provide also the AI also can generate investor relations report. Okay, so basically, each company, listed companies, they they have they have to be responsible to um, investors. They look at your companies, how well you're doing, and then you have to basically have stories, to tell them, oh, this is what you're doing, how you hope to do in the future, all that. And AI even know not just identify the gaps that you're not doing well, but also give you recommendations, okay, and helps you to tell good stories. So How wonderful that would be, isn't it? And
Yeah.
of course, lastly, if you need to raise money, to borrow money from bank, from financial institutions, then you might have to do the due diligence. We call it the ESDD. So there's something that later on, when this is corporate fundraising again.
Okay. Thank you so much. Okay. So,
So
I believe also have a key message to deliver. Okay.
yeah, so if you have no time, just read the key message. Oh, by the way, the key message is generated by AI. So you have to use AI to. I mean, I ask AI, to look at my script, and then my PowerPoint, and then come up with a one sentence message. And so you have to put into practice what you do, what you believe, right? So basically, the AI can help, can transform ESG from the compliance perspective become something dynamic, for the organizations, for the to in terms of risk management and also investor relations.
Yeah, thank you so much. I do believe that most of that know about the AI, the impact, and also the advantage of using the AI technologies. And also, of course, everybody, no matter it's talking about the top tier software render, the so-called scientists, and also the researcher, they also have another concern talking about the ethical AI and all those things. I do believe everybody will consider about this one, and I assume that this kind of the so-called concern, the certification, and all those things will cover this part also. So I understand that when you're talking about fundraising, when you're talking about ESG, I assume that there's a different part of the profession. They will have some kind of contribution, no matter they have a very good understanding about current situation. That they may be a consultant. Maybe there are some organization or maybe the institution, they provide the training. So that's why the training will systematically to cover whatever the student, okay, use the term student, should know about what is should be considered, what should be performed or behave, and what should be adopted on something like that. So I assume that that's the actual situation. You mentioned about before that you take the so-called fundraising certification, and also nowadays we are talking about so many AI courses or whatever, because the Hong Kong government spent quite a lot of the effort to try to promote this one to the school or maybe the working profession, to make sure that they have this kind of the skill set, or maybe talking about the upskilling. Okay. Can you tell a little bit more about, because I understand that you are not only talking about a consultant, you also some kind of the trainer and something like that. Can you tell us a little bit about what kind of the so-called this kind of the courses, or maybe you can not to recommend, you can tell us a little bit for the audience to consider. Can you tell us a little bit?
Yes, sure. So I think you have to skip a little bit the next slide. Yeah,
Okay.
I can come back to that AI issue later on. Yeah.
Okay.
So
Good.
because it's also important as well. So
Okay.
about training and about learning. I think first of all, learning is so important. Things are changing every day, especially in the AI world. You go on YouTube, you see new videos every single day, and there's so many new things coming out. So we have to keep ourselves updated, right? As I mentioned, I'm not just a certified fundraiser for 20 years. I'm also a ESG professional, certified ESG professional, because AI, it can does marvelous things, okay? But without a profession, a certified profession, you can't really put it in practice, because you don't know what it's talking about. I give you a report, and you don't know what's talking about. You have to understand it. You have to. There's a term we actually use. We call the human in the loop. Okay, I mean it sounds very straightforward. You have to have a human in order, in the AI, and all that's generated things. Make sure that it delivers, to your expectation. Okay, your human has to monitor it. So in the same way, the human is important to make AI make sense. So because of my background, I also have a trainer, and also I was on the committee of the CFRE, so an examinations board. So I want to the purpose of these courses. I mean, very grateful to Hong Kong's U Space for organized courses like this in order to pass on the knowledge, because that more people can benefit, and not just benefit from the knowledge in terms of fundraising, in terms of AI, but also in terms of ESG. They also help them to be certified professionals, okay, and to commit to a profession, because like we're in a world where everybody call themselves experts, right? And then you start worrying, who the real expert is. At least you can look at the certifications. Okay, well, at least he's been approved by our organization, so he got some certifications or certificates. So these are the training that will be available soon in terms of fundraising. And also, I'll show them how to, the first one, for example, nonprofit fundraising, I'll be showing how people can use AI to fundraise, the one that I mentioned earlier. And also, the whole course ultimately is train up professionals to take the CFRE exam. I have taught students who pass the CFRE exam. Okay, I mean, I'm very fortunate. I'm the first one, but I also want others to also pass the exams, and there are quite a few actually in Hong Kong, and I want more people to have these certifications. Even though it is not required by the Hong Kong government, but at least you can show to your stakeholders, your organization, that you are really committed to fundraising. You take the examinations, you take the course, and you pass it. Okay, I mean, it's not easy to pass, I tell you. Okay, I mean, just like any courses, if some examination, it's not easy to pass, so it's a challenge. And then the second one and the third one are both on ESGs. The third one is actually is also a professional examinations, and this one is actually structured and organized by the Hong Kong, the Chamber of Hong Kong listed companies. They have I think over 300 members, listed companies, and they also want to, set a standard. Everybody say, "Oh, I'm a ESG professionals," but it's but how do you know? Everybody who takes a, even the online course say, "Oh, I'm a ESG professional," okay, but then this you don't know. But so this also course is to help them to pass the examination, to have this really high standard, to tell the listed companies these people are trustworthy, and they have knowledge and experience.
Okay, thank you so much. Okay, so I do believe that the course will be publicly available, so that's why if anybody they are interested in this area, they can have the chances to take a look to see whether it's good for them, or maybe it's more challenging for them to well prepare themselves to take the examination. Very difficult examination. Okay.
Yeah, well, the good thing is I passed it, and I have 3 ESG certifications, even though they're all different from different standards. Some are UK, some are US, some are Europe, and Hong Kong. So they're all different. But whatever they are, but it's always good to commit, and pass them.
Okay. Thank you so much. Okay, but because I believe that you really want to cover the AI ethical issue and all those things. So should I just turn it back to the previous slide, or you really want to have another slide after this one?
Well, I think I can go back to the ethics. I think it's important.
Okay, so maybe later on I show this one. Okay, at the end of the so-called the conversation, I show you back to the ethical issue. I believe that you really want to talk about this one. It's quite important. Okay.
It is important because it is. I think it's important because no matter how good it is, people are concerned about how reliable, how trustworthy it is. Okay, and so these are the key issues that we have to address even before you start. You don't think that, oh, I can do marvelous things, and then the first questions your client or whoever, they'll ask you that, what kind of ethics you are following, all that, But unfortunately, there's no rules and regulations. It's developing. I mean, ask the Hong Kong government, and I think they're also working very hard on that. But even around the world, a lot of people don't know. A lot of organizations don't know. So, but whatever the case, the basic ethics we follow is to, that we make sure that AI benefit the community. It does not harm, humans. Okay, it sounds so straightforward, but there is something we have to follow. Make sure that we don't we protect the privacy of individuals. All right, and then there's security, cybersecurity measure, and data protection that we have to follow as well. And then we set to follow the international codes, follow for example, ISO standards. So best practice we also have to follow. So all these things we have to make sure they're all in place. While we talk about how many things you can do, and then there are so many different models and so many different cloud platform. We store the data because we need a location to store them, and you need to make sure you find a reliable one. I can tell you a joke, okay? It's really it is interesting because I have come across somebody, I mean you don't blame somebody who can does great things, he did a very well website which can do many great things to help people to apply for jobs, and and then it's free, okay? And then if you are, if you can get a website can help you to apply jobs, what it does is it collects all the information from the companies who post jobs, and then it aligns you, okay? It aligns your portfolio to write application letters, okay? And then you automatically the best ability and to apply to the organizations. So that means instead of writing individual letters, AI does it for you. Okay, isn't it wonderful? I mean, if you're looking for jobs, you just give your CV to the AI. It just look up all the jobs, okay, and matches everything and send out. Right, it's wonderful, marvelous. But then the interesting thing is, then we will ask, where do you store the data? Oh, I stored it in the computer under my foot at home. So imagine your information is being stored somewhere not trustworthy or not of very high quality. What will happen? So it might, it's not a big deal, but it can be a problem, right? So you do want to make sure that your data, your information is well protected, that you don't want to be hacked by by somebody else.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you so much for your sharing. Okay, I do believe that today you spend quite a lot of effort to talking about different kind of the issue and all those things. So that's why what the audience need to consider, no matter they are still now working for the nonprofit or maybe something about the ESG, or they have no idea about this kind of the profession, but they still have the chances to know a little bit more. And then one more thing is, because you mentioned about AI, I do believe that they have got a lot of information from you, get lots of insight from you, and then later on they will also check with the AI to see whether they can get further information, have the different kind of the advice and something like that. So that's the beauty of the AI and also the human being. The human, because we are the last mile, we understand everything, and the AI can give us sometimes give us some kind of the information in the early stage. So that's why we can filter it. We can think about we can try to make some choices to see whether we should spend the effort to do something which is related to ourselves, or maybe good for our career development, or maybe for the student, for the young kids they have in the future. Okay, what kind of things what we need to learn, or maybe they are interested to do. They can know a little bit more about what's happening right now. Oh, even though I really don't want to use the term trend, but actually that's the reality. The trend is over there, so that's why if you do something related to that trend, maybe it's easier to incorporate, or maybe interact with somebody else in the community. It will be much more beneficial for everybody, not only yourself, for everybody in the coming days. So this is something from my point of view after listen to your sharing. Okay, so do you have anything want to share with us, or I want to so-called the wrap up this meeting?
Well, I have to share that the more I use AI, the more I realize that it's more like human, because I besides engineering, I also study psychology. I also study education, lifelong learning. And I realized that, well, first of all, we have to be a lifelong learner because things are changing so fast, and we have to keep up to it. So even though it's hard, learning make it easier. So this is one thing. And secondly is I realized that the whole point of using AI is not to make us dumb, but make us smarter. So it's important to learn how to use AI to help us learn, not to help us do the things and then we become lazy. So I think this is the message, or this is why I try to advocate to younger generation, is that AI here is to help us learn better, okay, and fully utilize your learning experience and to become a better thinker and more critical thinker. And as Aaron, you say, even though if you don't know ideas, you can ask AI to give you ideas, but then you still have to, filter those ideas, don't just take them, and also, you have to use your brain. If you don't use it, you just get rotted, So so my message is, well, embrace AI and love learning, and also one thing is also a human, and we have a lot of nature character that really we should make sure that you continue, like kindness, like empathy, like gratitude. These human things AI does not have. Just don't just look at AI and does all these marvelous things, but don't forget about us. We are human beings, and we have all these human ability, human attributes. So I think it's important to mention.
Yeah, thank you so much, Vincent. Because actually this conversation should be started at 11 o'clock this morning, but because of the so-called unexpected technical issue, so that's why I do believe that Vincent already rescheduled his meeting to try to accommodate this kind of the so-called conversation. Even though during this conversation we still have some kind of the dead air or something like that. Don't worry, I will spend the time to just put it all together to make everybody can listen to Vincent sharing in a much better way. Give me some time, okay? Maybe tomorrow I will share the another video for you guys, okay? So from my perspective, actually, I do believe that today the sharing is quite important for everybody, even though the topic is quite similar, not similar to, it's related to the nonprofit, the fundraising and the ESG, but actually it's applied to all. Everybody, every industry, every individual. You can have the similar mindset to think about what's the pros and cons of using the AI, what's the attitude to try to make use of this one, how can you do something in a much better way. Before that, we really want to do, but we don't have this kind of the skill or maybe the capability of the AI. But nowadays, everything is possible. So that's why we can do it much better to leverage all those technology to create a much better world altogether. So thank you so much for Vincent sharing. And then if you guys really want to contact him, you can have a look on the screen. You can contact him directly and then to seek for a comment. Thank you so much, Vincent. So maybe we stop the webinar today. Thank you, Vincent. Bye bye.
Thank you so
bye,
much,
everybody.
Aaron. Thank you.
Yeah.